Alright, y'all, so let's talk about the finale of The Boys. This was definitely one of the biggest finales we've had in quite some time. And let me tell you, I thought that the season was moving pretty slow throughout. I felt like things were drawn out a bit too much, but I do think it's because they were always saying, remember back in the day, I don't know if I'm just making this up or not, that they were only going to have 4 seasons and then they went to 5. So I feel like things got stretched out a little bit too much. But before we get into it, make sure you hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell. We got theories on what season 5 could bring, as well as Gen V season 2. That will be coming out later in the week. Stay tuned, but let's talk about this finale that was just insane. So, of course, this came with a warning due to recent events that have happened, and we started off the episode where we left off. So, where we left off last time, we knew that Annie had been taken by the shapeshifter, and the shapeshifter had taken her form. Now it is January 6th, a very clever play right there, and we see that Frenchie is still working on the virus that they're trying to extract from Kimiko's leg that she had severed due to her being injected by it by Samir. And now we see that Huey is unknowingly with the shape-shifting Annie, who is taking all of the information on Newman and getting ready to do the assassination themselves. And the reason they're doing this is so Annie will be blamed for it, and then Annie will be the one that goes to jail for it. And we see a very great play on Annie dealing with her own demons as the shapeshifter is taunting her on everything that she has done in her whole life. On the other side of things, we see that on Firecracker's TV show Truth Bomb, we have Newman and we have the Homelander. And Newman and Homelander are there to talk about what is the next part of the plan for the Americans and all of that, but Homelander just snaps after having recently snapped on Ryan for having a picture Butcher and his mom in his backpack, which pissed off Homelander, and he basically said, "That's not your father, I'm your father." So we see that Homelander's dealing with all of that, and he just snaps and says, "Newman is a soup, and I'll prove it." He lasers her, nothing happens, and everything just erupts into chaos. Newman gets pissed about this, and Homelander says, "You're gonna listen to me, and that's that. You're gonna do as I say. You're basically my puppet," and that's all that there is to do. Eventually, when the boys see this happen, they know that the plan is not gonna work that they had. Things are moving a lot quicker, so they decide to bunker down with President Singer, and they pretty much are going to keep an eye on him down there, but they take the shape-shifting Annie with them as well. That is when Huey realizes what is going on, and he sees and realizes that this isn't the real Annie, and that's because of the same line the shapeshifter had said earlier when they first met the shapeshifter, and also the sweating that's happening because apparently Annie's not really the one to sweat. He tells MM about this, and the shapeshifter catches on and just goes into their plan to kill Singer. Kimiko and Secret Service are able to get the president out, but the shapeshifter follows, and however we see that Annie shows up to save the day after she manages to escape from the shifter's prison, and she takes on the shapeshifter one-on-one, eventually killing the shapeshifter. So after all of this, Newman realizes this is just way too much. Homelander is getting too aggressive and it's never going to end. She calls the boys and Huey for help, and the boys are ready to swoop in. A little bit of back and forth between them, but they realize this is the only way. We don't know exactly how much more we can keep going back and forth with this. It needs to end now. We see Butcher is dying, and we see that Mallory visits Butcher, and they try one last hoorah to get Ryan on their side, but we see that Ryan pretty much doesn't feel he should be locked up and trained to kill his own father when Mallory breaks it down to him about everything he's done, including the people he murdered on Flight 37, the sexual assault on Becca, and all of that. And we see that he gets really pissed, and he just inadvertently throws Grace onto the wall and kills her, breaking her neck. We eventually see that this is what sends Butcher over the top, and he lets the evil within him just come full circle. Jeffrey Dean Morgan has now possessed Butcher pretty much. That's what we can see right here. Homelander goes into overdrive when he learns that the attempt on Singer has not worked, and he eventually tries to get everybody killed at Vought that knows anything about the Seven that could put them in peril, and he gets the help of the Deep, Black Noir, and Firecracker to do this, and he wants them to also kill Ashley. The three of them run around the tower killing everybody, and we eventually see that Ashley is not going to go down without a fight, and she takes some of the V and injects it, and she turns into something. We don't know. This is pretty much the last we see of Ashley. We then see as Newman and Zoe arrive at the boys' makeshift lab, and they are going to protect her, and they start to plan the plan out of how they're going to do this. But then we see that Butcher shows up, and he now has the tentacles full on Like, he is full on Soup Venom-esque type, and he goes on and kills Newman by ripping her in half in an insane twist I did not see coming at all. We then see as he takes the virus and he says that he will go and do this himself. Back at Vought, we see that Homelander has pretty much gone down this dark path and is at rock bottom now. Everything's destroyed around him. He sees that the whole thing with Newman happened where she has died, and he pretty much feels defeated. And then Sage shows up and says, you know, this was all part of the plan. And she changes the channel, and we see that Singer is now to blame for Newman's death. It seems somebody was recording down in the bunker, and I'm very curious to see who that might be actually, or if Sage had set this up in some way, but we'll talk about that in our theory video coming up. After all of this comes out from President Singer, we see that they are now going to have the Speaker of the House become President Calhoun, who does say they do pledge their allegiance to Homelander, and Sage says, you're welcome. Pretty much saying that this was all part of her plan because she just wanted to see if she could do this, and now she has a phase 2, which I'm curious to know what that will be. Are they trying to take this international now? We'll talk about that. We eventually see that the new president declares martial law, giving Soups full and legal authority, and the boys try to escape, but then they are caught. Huey and Starlight are stopped by that superhero who has that shaved head, and then we see that Huey is taken into custody while we see Starlight's able to fly away as her powers have come back. We then see that Kimiko and Frenchie are stopped by the Guardians of Godolphin, Sam and Kate. Is caught by the Love Sausage, who we all remember, of course, from season 3, and I'm sure as well. We also see, however, that Butcher's able to get scot-free out of there with the virus in possession, with Joe Kessler in the back seat. So we're gonna have Joe Kessler come back for sure in season 5, which I'm excited. And that's pretty much where we end things off. But let me tell you, we have a post-credit scene here that sets up a lot of things. First and foremost, Supernatural reunion next season for sure, because apparently Jared is coming to season 5 supposedly, which I'm hoping is true. But Soldier Boy is alive, he's unconscious, and he's in a tank now. It's shown to Homelander by the new president in an underground facility, and only Homelander knows about this. So it was a pretty big ending to the finale of one of the biggest seasons of The Boys run. And you know, I thought that it was so insane that they were actually going to kill Singer, but I did not expect Newman to go out this season at all. Really shocked once Butcher showed up. And we saw that Butcher just didn't hold back and ripped Newman in half. I'm very curious to see what Sage's phase 2 plan is here. I really think that Sage is trying to plan something bigger on a world scale, especially more international. I think that The Boys has really held up being in this bubble for a finale. I feel like they do want to branch off more international, especially seeing that The Boys were planning to go out of the country. So I'm curious to see what that phase 2 is going to look like. I think the whole thing with having Sam and Kate in this season as well is setting up a lot for Gen V. The creators of the show also said that this would all bleed into Gen V as well. So I'm pretty sure in season 2 of Gen V, we'll get a little bit more of that. And I'm very curious to see how all of that will be resolved right there. I'm also curious to see what Ashley's new powers will be after taking the Gen V in this finale, because it looked like things were going to get, I don't know, did it look like anybody else that she's going to become like some Hulk monster type of thing? Because that's what it looked like to me. So curious about that as well. So pretty much from The Boys, the only ones we have that are safe right now are just going to be Starlight and Butcher. They managed to escape. We saw that Huey, and Frenchie were taken. We saw that Kimiko as well was being held, and I'm pretty sure that we are going to get some pretty interesting team ups in the next one, some unholy alliances, if you will. A-Train, of course, is out of the picture right now, but I'm pretty sure he'll be coming back in the next one. And it looks like Sage is definitely having some more secrets being kept in that Maeve notebook that she has. But the biggest thing is Soldier Boy coming back. We know that this is definitely going to be something that will boil up to be a bigger threat for the boys than they can expect. And I really love that they're doing this lineage where you're gonna have Soldier Boy, who's the grandpa, Homelander the dad, and Ryan the son. And it's like an unholy alliance, the unholy trinity. Is that what's gonna be happening in the next season of The Boys? I definitely think there's so much here that's cooking up that's so good, and I'm very excited. I haven't been this excited for a season in a bit, and I'm ready to see what exactly they're about to lay down for us. But a Supernatural reunion is on the way, because yeah, Jeffrey Morgan, Soldier Boy Jarrett, all coming back in the next season. We are so here for that. But Gen B should be coming out, I believe, next year, so we'll get more, I feel, about that and Kate and Sam, because the creators did say that it's going to bleed into Gen V and it's going to start off right where the boys ended. And that's how Gen V is going to end as well, where the boys will start for the final season. So let me know what you think about it in the comments down below. If you're excited for the boys finale, if you're excited for the new season that's coming, all of that. I do have a theory video coming out for you this week, so stay tuned. I just got done watching it. I just wanted to talk about it, give you my thoughts and opinions on it, but definitely did not expect that at all. Very great finale. But let me know, what do you think about also Gen V? Where do you think that's going? I'll talk about that as well, my theories. Now, it seems that things are really going to start picking up in that season as well. But as always, that's going to do it for me. We got Alien Romulus trailer, Beetlejuice breakdown, as well as a couple of reviews coming out today. Today's going to be a packed Thursday, probably 5 videos from me total. So stay tuned for that. But as always, that's going to do it for me. Make sure you subscribe. Make sure you hit that notification bell. 35,000 subscribers is our goal. We are less than 3,000 to go. So that's our goal for the end of July. As always, stay safe, stay positive.